Are you ready to transform your pool into a stunning oasis? At Mainland Pool Service, they're a family-owned business committed to keeping your pool looking pristine all year round. They believe that pool care should be proactive, not reactive, which is why their skilled team handles everything from routine cleaning to complex issues with precision. They prioritize clear communication and personalized solutions to exceed your expectations. Join the Mainland Pool Service family today and experience the difference their expertise and dedication can bring to your relaxation retreat. Contact them now at mainlandpoolservice.com.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Azzy's making money thanks to the new CBA.
Incredible stuff.
Her
good stuff.
Rookie contract. She is projected to make $500,000 this year, and just in comparison, Paige made $78,000 last year, and Caitlin Clark made $76,000.
Anytime we get workers getting paid what they're worth, I'm all for it.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum. We're in downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't get your hopes up that either LaMelo Ball or Steph Curry, or I guess it could have been, Con Kniffel, Draymond. We had lots of options. I hope you didn't get your hopes up that any one of these dudes would deliver for us on Friday night and provide the Grizzlies franchise with additional lottery odds and a second lottery pick, because it didn't happen. I'm very disappointed in both the Hornets and the Warriors. I woke up on Friday, I wanted to pick first and second in June's NBA draft. It was possible. Now the best we can hope for is like first and 16th, and it could be 10th and 18th. Yuck. 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 We've had better Fridays. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, Michael Eaves is going to join me. He, of course, among other things, hosts Sports Center for ESPN. I'll talk to him about all things NBA playoffs because they got underway this weekend. Michael Eaves is going to join me in the next segment. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we'll discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them a couple of relevant college basketball players who were in the transfer portal and at least loosely connected to Penny Hardaway's Tigers. They have committed to new schools this weekend. Neither picked Memphis. We'll discuss in about 40 minutes. Meantime, great weekend for UConn. Huskies are getting Braylon Mullins back. Credit NIL for keeping great players in college longer. I'll explain why somebody, Braylon Mullins, a lock to be a first-round pick in the 2026 NBA draft if he entered it. I'll explain why he's passing on that opportunity. We'll do it a little later on in the show. The Eagles reportedly remain open to moving A.J. Brown here in the week of the 2026 NFL draft. The Patriots could be a landing spot for him. I'll get Bennett's thoughts on that NFL situation. We'll do it in just a bit. The New York Mets and their $352.3 million payroll, highest in baseball on opening day, have now lost 11 straight games.
Well, damn.
I'm ready to fire somebody. I don't even know who.
Someone probably needs to get the axe.
Somebody's got to be fired. About to start a 9-game homestand. It's going to get loud and not in a good way. Oh, the Boos are going to be in Citi Field this week. We'll do a therapy session. Just let me mourn the Mets season. We'll do that in the third segment. In WrestleMania 42, it happened this weekend out in Las Vegas. Roman Reigns got a clean win over CM Punk. Put your ones up. The OTC is your champ again. Get Bennett's thoughts on WrestleMania. We'll do it during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Eventually, we will do GP's carryout and call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. I did want to start in the NBA because, good Lord, Friday night could not have gone worse. I had a great weekend, broadly speaking.
I did too.
Way more good than bad. I hope everybody else had that too. Friday night sucked. We needed the Hornets to win, as you know. They got blown out. Mm-hmm. No problem. We still got Steph and the Warriors. Need them to win. They got blown out. As a franchise, the Grizzlies took 57 losses in the regular season to put themselves in this position. And then they took 2 more L's on Friday night. The teams we needed to win to ensure the Grizzlies would have a second set of lottery odds and a second lottery pick, those teams lost by a combined 46 points. The Hornets were down 38-16 after the first quarter. The Suns were down 33-15 after the first quarter. The Warriors were, rather. We never stood a chance in either game. So now, instead of dreaming about picking first and second, we're reduced to hoping for first and 16th, but it could be 10th and 18th.
Oh, God.
And if it's 10th and 18th, just take me to the top of the Bass Pro Pyramid. Let me get a running start.
Yeah.
I ain't picking 10th and 18th.
I will throw up all over myself.
I ain't going to be here to see that day.
I will throw up all over myself.
You tell me on May 10th, Grizzlies are picking 10th and 18th?
Disgusting. That would be absolutely disgusting.
Just let me get a running start.
Yeah.
Big Bet Better, it's good to see you on this Monday morning, I guess.
Yeah.
Why did LaMelo and Steph let us down like that?
Well, I told you when I sat in here on Friday, I did not feel good about it. And here's why. One, we can never have anything. Like, that's first and foremost. We're just not allowed to have anything good. That's first and foremost. Second, the Hornets have never been there before. It
sure as hell looked like it.
Sure as hell looks like it. That's a lot of pressure. And the Warriors didn't want to be there in the first place. They're ready for the lottery too.
That was the thing we forgot about.
We needed the Clippers to win that other play-in game because
that is actually true.
We needed that because I feel like that would have been a tougher task for. I'm not saying like Kawhi's better than Steph, anything like that. I'm just saying the Clippers had reason to. And I'm not saying the Warriors didn't have reason to play hardball. I'm just saying once it got to that point where they were up, where the Suns were up, it's what I said. I was like, if the Suns get up big at any point, we are screwed because the Warriors are just going to be like, all right, this is done.
To your point, if the Clippers go down double digits, it's like, hey, this is our whole season on the line.
Let's fight.
This is the only thing we got to do.
Yeah.
There's only one good thing that can come of this, and that's us winning this game.
Right.
Whereas the Warriors, you get down double digits, and it's like,
no, we don't care.
Like if we happen to come back and win this game, do you know what it means? It means we have no lottery pick, we have no lottery odds, we have no shot to get the number 1 pick, and we have to wake up tomorrow, get on a plane, go to Oklahoma City, and get our brains beat in.
Yeah.
Let's just call it a night.
Right.
Let's just call it a night.
I mean, Steph was at Coachella the next night. Come on.
And you got to miss Coachella.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, what would you rather do? Go to Coachella tomorrow night or Oklahoma City?
I think the choice is easy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, if the Warriors come out and jump on them 11-2, hey, let's go try to win the game.
Right.
This is fun. It's fun to win. But to your point, once it's like, this ain't going our way, then you have every reason in the world to just allow it to not go your way.
Yep.
4 of 16 from the field. This little guy let me down. I took him home with me.
I know
I didn't have permission from you, but I looked up at some point Friday afternoon, and I was sitting here by myself, and I looked around.
Uh-huh.
And I knew there were cameras on me, but I didn't know if they were watching.
Yeah.
You know, I recognized the cameras.
They're always watching.
That's not comfortable. Are they really always watching?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't like that.
Yeah, they're always watching. You didn't know that?
I mean, I assume they're always pointed at me, but I didn't,
Oh, yeah, these bad boys are always watching.
Well, I don't want to pretend I ever sit in here and like do anything crazy, but like, I could like, pick. Sometimes you ever pick your nose when you think nobody's watching?
Sure.
Okay.
Who hasn't?
Yeah. Well, like now, look, Kyra's probably sitting there watching me pick my nose 24 hours a day, right? Poor woman. So I looked around and I didn't see nobody.
Yeah.
And I was like, I saw Steph. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take him home. I'm going to take this little guy home. I took him home. I set him up and we got excited. And when the Hornets went down by 1 billion, I looked at my sons, my young boys, and I said, guys.
You know what time it is.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I know you have grown up having nightmares about what this guy can do to your favorite basketball team. But tonight we are all Warriors. We wanted LaMelo and Khan to knock this thing out early so that we could focus late night on Coachella or whatever. But we're going to have to stay up and we're going to have to ride with Steph. But here's the good news. Best I can tell, for a while now, riding with Steph, kind of fun. Kind of fun. We ain't been able to do this.
Right.
We've been on the wrong end of it, but we ain't never been on the right end of it. So tonight we're fine. And I pulled out little Steph.
Yeah.
I got everybody to rub his little head for good luck. And then it was just over.
Yeah, I'll never make that stupid mistake again.
What are we going to do?
We're gonna still get 2 first-round picks. I see some of the copium out there because I've seen people be like, well, it was probably only going to be like pick 14 and at worst you're going to pick 16.
It's
so
fine.
who
Those people are probably right. As long as you say things like it was probably not going to be top 2 picks. Like, of course. We all know. Like, we all understand math. Some better than others. But we all understand it was probably not going to be what you wanted it to be. You still like the chance, don't you? This is what I always say about actual lottery tickets. Like, the reason this is called the lottery is because it's devised like an actual lottery. And what it does is give you a very small percentage to have something amazing. That's what a lottery is. It's a very small percentage chance to have something amazing. You're almost certain you can live to be 90, buy lottery tickets every week. Odds are you will never cash it for anything of substance.
Yeah.
All right? Odds are it'll never matter to your life. It'll just be, I think, what some people call it. You know what some people call the lottery? A tax on the poor, an additional tax on the poor. Because it is mostly people who don't have a lot of money who are just dreaming, what's my way out of here? Let's buy a lottery ticket. And you look up at the end of the year and you spent like $250 on lottery tickets. And you know what you got to show for it? Nothing. That's usually the way it goes. So when people look at a lottery and say, well, it probably wasn't going to be anything. Well, of course, dummy. Like, that's the way, of course. Like, what are you even saying? We all know. All right? But here's the point. It gives you a chance. It gives you something to believe in, to hope for, to dream about. And that's all I wanted on Friday night. Here's the truth. No matter how those games went on Friday night, it was probably going to be for the Grizzlies a pick in the top 10 somewhere and a pick outside of the top 10 somewhere. All right? No matter how those games went on Friday, that's probably what we're doing on draft night. A pick in the top 10 somewhere that belongs to us and somebody else's pick outside of the top 10 that also belongs to us. No matter what happened in those games Friday, that is probably what it was going to be. But if either one of those games goes the way the Grizzlies needed that game to go, then we at least get to come in here today and talk about hope and believe in something. We'd probably just be disappointed once the ping pong balls, bounced around. But we'd have every minute between now and then to daydream, to go, what if? Man, can you imagine? Ooh, wouldn't that be crazy? And when those games don't go the right way, we can't even play around anymore. No, I like to play around.
I do too. I mean, listen, this all happened really fast. Like, this all happened really fast. This Friday night scenario. So, 2 weeks ago, we probably weren't even like. We were hoping maybe something works its way out in the play-in, and it did, right. And so we got excited. But that went in the back of our minds for weeks.
To your point, a month ago, we could say things like, "Could end up with 2 lottery picks," but then you would counter it with, "But you probably won't."
Right.
But you probably won't. And then we actually ended up, for a lot of different reasons, most of them involving the Magic hating each other. We ended up.
Now they love each other.
I guess they love each other now.
Pretty good.
I guess now they're great.
Go figure.
But that is, by the way, exactly why last year with the Grizzlies, as bad as it had gotten and as much as it had spiraled and as likely as it was you were going to get into a 1-8 matchup and get embarrassed, what you saw this weekend with the Magic is exactly why I said,
That's why you do it.
just get in there and see what happens.
Yep.
Because
you could steal game one.
Because the Magic have looked like absolute shit for a while.
Yep.
But they still got a healthy Paulo and a healthy this and a healthy
Desmond
that.
Bane's been good.
And
Yep.
now it's like, okay, let's just get in there. New lease on life type of thing. See what happens.
Yeah, Pistons never been there before.
Now they're up 1-0.
Yeah.
Now they're up 1-0. This is why, don't ever forget, heading into that 1-8 series last year, there was a healthy John Morant, a healthy Jaren Jackson, a healthy Desmond Bane, and a healthy Zach Edey. You can't punt on that. As we talked about last week, very different than the situation the Warriors find themselves in this year, where they're in the play-in, but hurt Jimmy Butler, hurt Moses Moody, 38-year-old Steph Curry. It's very different. But when I was arguing in favor of the Grizzlies, man, yeah, just you're here, go for it. This is what I was hoping for. That you'd get into a 1-8 matchup, odds stacked against you, but you've still got the pieces that made people think once upon a time, maybe you can be something. And let's see what happens. As you know, it lost the first game by 50. And then the second game, and then Ja got hurt, and the rest is history. But what I was hoping for is you never know if you've got a core and they're healthy and they were supposed to be good, can you flip a switch with, hey, I know you hate him, and I know you two hate each other, and I know we're probably divorcing in some way when this is over. But right now it's 0-0, and we're playing these dudes, and I know they're the 1 and we're the 8. But in the preseason, on paper, how much better did anybody think they were going to be than us? Probably better, but let's go play them and see what happens. And now you're up 1-0,
Yep. Yeah. It's tough. I mean, I think if we're trying to stay the course, again, give me in that top 6. I'm gonna get excited.
That's right.
Give me in that top 6. I'm gonna get excited.
But you go from we could, as unlikely as it was, I go, can I interest you in a AJ DeBonta and a Darren Peterson?
That would have been incredible.
And now I'm back to more what if I give you a Darius Acuff and a Kareem Lopez?
I could still. It's not the same, but I could still get fired up. I could still get fired up.
I'm going to get fired up. If I need to get fired up about a Kareem Lopez, I will.
Yeah.
But I want to get fired up about Darren Peterson. And
I know.
He let us down.
Yeah, he sure did.
4 of 16.
Really disappointed.
4 of 16 in an elimination game.
I expected better from a legend.
I expected better from a legend.
He wanted to go to Coachella.
But I hope you enjoyed Sabrina Carpenter's set.
Yeah. Wait, was she Friday or Saturday?
She was Saturday, I think.
I thought she was.
Maybe she was Friday.
She was great.
Friday was Sabrina. Saturday was Justin Bieber. I hope you enjoyed Justin Bieber's set.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed Justin Bieber.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Disappointing all around.
Beats France.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, Steph, go beat France. Okay, I'll go beat France. No problem. Hey, Steph, go beat the Suns. Can you go beat the Suns for us?
Yeah.
I watched you beat France last. Can you just go beat the Suns for us?
Oh, by the way, Dylan always has that over y'all now. That's Dylan into the dynasty. Just putting that out there. That's what was at stake, and that's what happened.
Remember,
Dylan ended the dynasty.
But remember, Draymond Green said about Dylan Brooks in Memphis, the dynasty starts after you. The dynasty's not with you. The dynasty starts after you. That's what he told Dylan Brooks. Now look, ever since Dylan Brooks left here, things have been.
Yeah.
And now Dylan Brooks might have. The last game Draymond Green ever plays with Steph Curry and Steve Kerr could have been a defeat at the hands of Dylan Brooks.
It's what was at stake. Let us down.
Steph, this is part of your legacy now.
Yep.
You cost the Grizzlies second lottery odds. It's part of your legacy now. Michael Eaves is up next.
The Grizzlies are proud to team up with Prime Global Group, a company on a mission to redefine real estate investment. By leveraging deep experience, strategic insight, and robust resources, Prime Global Group is shaping a smarter, socially responsible future. Whether you're an investor or simply curious, now's the time to explore innovative strategies that align with your values. Join the movement and discover how you can be a part of this exciting evolution. Visit primeglobalgroup.net to learn more and connect with the team today. That's primeglobalgroup.net.
25 years of history. Going back to where it all started. B2K is back. The Millennium Tour presents the Boys for Life Tour. Bow
Still
Wow.
I ain't impressed cause ain't none of them at all.
Boys for Life. Also starring Pretty Ricky, B5, Young Jock, Crime Mob, A. Marie, and Franchise Boys. April 26th, FedEx Forum. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. Presented by the Black Promoters Collective.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's Orthosouth at orthosouth.org.
Kevin Garnett returned to Minnesota. How awesome was this? Look at this.
That's love right there.
When he walks in, and they brought him out of the tunnel. They're like, welcome back. They played like a tribute video.
That's the reason why guys like TA and them are here, bro.
It's the best.
You want to see the OGs back showing love.
It's the best. That is the best. Nothing has felt more wrong than Kevin Garnett not being a part of that.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Grizzlies, take your fandom to the next level by becoming an MVP.
How long have you been an MVP? Since day one.
Enjoy the great benefits of being a season ticket member. Pre-game MVP moments, including Autograph Alley, exclusive Grizz gear deals, access to member or MVP-only player events, and much more.
He's been an MVP for 22 years!
Become a Grizzlies MVP today.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, downtown Memphis, and on Mondays I'm joined in the second segment by Michael Eaves, who of course hosts Sports Center for ESPN. He's here right now. Michael Eaves, it's GP. How are you on this Monday?
I'm good, brother. What's cracking?
I want to start in the NBA. All good over here. We had a vested interest here in Memphis in Friday night's games because if the Hornets won and or the Warriors won, the Grizzlies would get a second set of lottery odds and a second lottery pick. As you know, Neither game went the way we needed it to go. The second one, the Warriors lose to Phoenix, and there's this moment toward the end where the mics capture Steve Kerr saying to Draymond and Steph, I don't know what's next, but I love you guys. I don't know what's next either, but that sounds like the type of thing you take a moment to say when you genuinely might not know what's next, but you also are aware this could never be the same again. What, if anything, did you take from that moment?
I think exactly how you summed it up, because Steve is one of those guys who understands the moment. And he's very good at seeing the future. And that's why he's been a successful coach with obviously some of the greatest players of all time. But he understood the complexity of this upcoming summer for the Warriors and what they're going to do with their franchise going forward. And he understands that all three of them could be back or only one of them could be back. Now, for me, it felt more as if Steve feeling as though he may not be back because he's not certain if he still has enough to give it what it requires in terms of that job, being able to go back and rebuild something potentially for the future. Does he have that in him? And he has to take some time to decide that for himself. But he also understands the situation with Draymond Green's contract for next season as well. He has a player option, but obviously you're Draymond, you think you can play a couple more years. But if your team is not willing to give you those couple more years, do you have to go elsewhere to get it? So you put all that together, Steve was like, hey, we don't know. I don't even know about myself. So let's take a moment right now to appreciate what we've done, because this could be the last time we ever do it together.
Meantime, following day, NBA playoffs get underway. We've now got 2 days in the books, and the Lakers are up 1-0 on the Rockets, in part because KD, Kevin Durant, missed game one, was a late scratch in that one. And this is something I always reference with the NBA playoffs as February turns to March and March turns to April, and we start looking at matchups, and we say things like, well, there's no way this team's going to get past that team or that this team can get to the finals. And in reality, it almost always comes down to the status reports. Like, what are those going to look like? And I know it looked like when Luka goes down, well, that's it for the Lakers. But when your opponent's best player goes down, it opens up some things. And I'm just sort of fascinated by where we are right now. I think I kind of know where we're going to end up, at least in the West. But the idea that 41-year-old LeBron James could win a playoff series is not off the table right now.
It is not. And I thought he was very efficient and very smart with how he attacked that game one. Early on, he was out there like Magic Johnson. He was trying to get other guys involved, get their shots up, get some confidence. And then the rest of the way, if they needed him to do something, he was able to put that scoring up when needed. But if you look at this series, if someone said LeBron James and Luka Doncic, regardless of how old LeBron is right now, those two guys versus KD and whoever the second best players in Houston, whether it's Şengün or Amen Thompson, you would probably say Luka and LeBron are better than there too. So you would give the Lakers the nod, right? But once you had no Luka, and oh, by the way, you had no Austin Reeves, then, this is the Rockets series now to win, but you don't have KD in game one. So again, that flips it to a totally different narrative. If KD can play and those other two guys for the Lakers I mentioned do not play, I think you still give the nod to Houston. But if he doesn't play or limited his ability, then yeah, LeBron could be making history yet again by advancing to yet another playoff series.
So just before the Lakers go up 1-0 on the Rockets, the Knicks go up 1-0 on the Hawks. That's not a surprise, but it comes right after Danny Green, a former NBA player who's turned basketball analyst, sort of, I don't know if it went viral, but it certainly got aggregated into a bunch of headlines where he said on a conference call of all places, like, I'm just hearing not great things coming out of New York with that locker room. There's some friction there between some players and the coaching staff, and that's why I don't really love their playoff chances. Now, whatever, the Knicks are up 1-0. We'll see where it goes. But I always take note of stuff like that because former players, particularly recently retired ones, their agents are have players in locker rooms. They're buddies with players in locker rooms. They're former teammates with guys all over the places. If I were a Knicks fan, I wouldn't love hearing that from Danny Green because I don't think he made that up. He's probably hearing that from a real person. It's probably a real thing to some degree. Just in your experience of listening to former NBA players talk, do you pick up on that at all? Sometimes they know more than they're willing to say, but what they say can be notable.
Yeah, 100%. And you're right. Like the closer they are to the end of their playing days, the more tapped in they are, right? And Danny Green, who's new to being an analyst working for us at ESPN, he's not gonna just say some stuff to be saying stuff. Right. That's not who Danny is. So if he's heard it, he legit heard it. Now, the validity or the depth of those issues, now that could be in question, right? But also, I think every team has some issues somewhere eventually, like especially if you're in a situation like New York and you just had a coaching change. Right. So Mike Brown is new to the whole deal. And so there may be some things in terms of how relationships are fostered with the head coach and the staff and the players. That doesn't mean that they still can't get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But if those issues, at least in Danny's mind, are as real as he was led to believe, then he can understand why they couldn't achieve those goals this season because there are a lot of expectations on New York. Right. But my thing is, if they were supposed to be the team they were going to be, they wouldn't have the seed they have now. They would be the one seed in the East, quite honestly, because considering the injuries you had in Boston and all of a sudden Detroit gets the one seed, but Cade Cunningham missed all his games at the end. But like New York should have been in that position to begin with. I just think that there's always lofty expectations placed on the Knicks, and mostly it's from Knicks fans and Knicks media. I think they were ahead of schedule a couple years ago in terms of how deep they went to the playoffs. But now you put all those expectations on yourself and you fall short. Now people start looking for reasons why, and it could be the issues that Danny Green raised.
So we had 8 playoff games this weekend, 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. The higher seeded home team won all of them except for Detroit in Orlando. The Magic have been weird. Like on paper, look good. They clearly pushed for it last offseason, coming to Memphis to send a bunch of first-round picks to get Desmond Bane. And then they were spiraling toward the end. All the reports are that the best player and the coach don't get along. And yet they win the playoff game on Friday night, a blowout, and then bounce into this Detroit series, go in there, win a game 1. Is this the type of thing that can fix internal problems? Like success can make, if the coach and the star have friction, Can postseason success like this fix that? Or is this always going to be something Orlando has to address at the end of the season?
I think we will only find out in terms of how this series plays out. Right. But look, they should not win this series. Right. They just shouldn't. All right, that's just facts. Now, can they? Of course they can, but they should not. So even if they do or they don't, does that really fix whatever issues that led them to be in the play-in to begin with? Because if you're looking at all the teams that came into the season based on their expectations where they actually finished, I think Orlando's one of the more disappointing teams in the league this year, despite them finally making the playoffs through the play-in, because they have more talent and a better roster than their positioning in the standings would suggest. Right now, I think that game one was more of a product of Detroit than it was Orlando. Cade was out for a while, and granted, he came back and played a little bit, but you still got to get that rhythm back. But, Kendrick Perkins on SportsCenter last night with me was saying that his concern in this particular series, but besides the matchups themselves, is the fact that who is that number 2 guy to Cade Cunningham that can go and get their own shot when they've got Cade bundled up, right? Because it probably should be Jalen Duren, but KP was making a point last night that most of Duren's stuff comes off of action as opposed to him working in ISO and getting a shot and taking his dude to the rack. So if that is a matchup issue or maybe even a roster issue for JB Bickerstaff in Detroit, that's why Kendrick Perkins thinks this particular series could be an issue.
Last thing on the NBA, the last game of the opening weekend of the playoffs, Spurs 111, Trailblazers 98. Wemby gets 35 points with David Robinson and Tim Duncan sitting courtside. Just an awesome scene in San Antonio. Had my little guys fell asleep during the game, but we woke up this morning, turned on SportsCenter. We were watching the highlights. There's Monica McNutt. And I'm always amazed when actual basketball people who have been on basketball courts are amazed by what they're watching. And you get that with Wemby. Steph for different reasons, but you get it with Wemby more often than you get it with anybody. He's here. Like whatever we were thinking he could be someday, it's here. Not to suggest this is the best version of him we'll ever see, which is like incredible because he's still got room to grow, even though he's already amazing. But like we're watching a GOAT right now.
Look, basketball has been my favorite sport since I was 6 years old. I've been around some of the best players in history, whether in college, whether professionally. I've sat next to them on desk as analysts, and they're educating me beyond what I already feel like is pretty strong basketball knowledge. He's the one guy right now, Gary, that sort of leaves me speechless when I'm doing the highlights on SportsCenter. And it was the case last night because, again, I've done highlights of Jordan and LeBron. I've seen him play in person. But when I see Wemby at that size with that skill set, it just doesn't make sense. And I find myself almost laughing during the highlights because of the things he does. I mean, one play we had in the shot sheet last night, he blocks it at one end, recovers, pushes the break, goes behind his back, takes his man one-on-one, and spins from the top of the key to a one-dribble dunk layup. Like, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in the history of this league, a guy that is, damn near 8 feet tall doing all those things. And so I'm sitting here trying to give it context and describe it in a way, and I just find myself laughing because I am speechless because the skill set is ridiculous. Now, the thing that stands out to me even more than that, which is hard to believe, at this young age, at only his 3rd season in the league, how poised he is, how determined he is to be a champion, and how that leadership quality permeates everything he's around. I mean, we saw it all the way back in the All-Star game and how he was like, this is how we're going to approach this. And everyone fell in line behind him. Yes. Everybody from the vets to the rooks fell in line behind Wemby's attitude towards that game. And you see it with his team as well. It's a culture that has been cultivated there in San Antonio. It's a perfect fit for him. And everyone is vying in by it because look, if your best player is like that, then why can't we win it all? That's even when we're not supposed to.
And I don't want to say like that stuff you're referencing is my favorite thing about Wemby, because I think my favorite thing about Wemby is that he's 7'4" and plays basketball unlike anything we've ever seen. But every time I hear him talk, I'm just blown, like mature beyond his years, impressive. He had that press conference moment last week where he's sort of having a back and forth with the media. And it's like, so what do you guys think about the 65-game rule where you got to play 65 games? And they were like, what do you think? And he's like doing math in his head and having a real conversation, like seemed genuinely interested in what other people were saying. Not all bazillionaires, super famous people are. He seemed very interested in just like listening and learning. And I look at him, the basketball stuff's easy to see, but leadership qualities, everything you could possibly hope for, I think, is right there in that package, at least from where I'm looking. Maybe you get inside the building and it's a little this, a little that. I've heard nothing to suggest that. I'm just looking at somebody that looks like if you were going to build the face of everything forever, this is what you would do. You would do it with him.
The most well-rounded people are intellectually curious.
Yes.
And the more knowledge you can obtain, the better suited you are for any environment. Any environment. And Wemby clearly has that intellectual curiosity about basketball, about life, about leadership, all those things. And to your point, who else would you want? I'm sorry. All due respect to everyone else. And there's some great dudes in professional sports, some great dudes in the NBA. But right now, today, who would you want better than Victor Wembanyama? I don't think there is a choice.
No. Last thing before I get you out of here. This weekend was Wrestlemania on an ESPN property for the first time. I'm a wrestling fan. My kids are. We watched Saturday together, Sunday together. We'll watch Raw tonight. I am curious because it impacts your job specifically. You're now talking about wrestling, interviewing wrestlers. I'm not asking you to defend it or come down on it. I'm just curious, how much of a conversation was it at ESPN SportsCenter? How are we going to treat this incredibly valuable property that maybe we haven't treated this way before?
All right, so let me say this.
Okay.
I hate professional wrestling.
Okay.
I do. But that's fine. I don't have to like everything.
Right.
There's so much stuff in the world. Like, you can't like everything. And I don't like professional wrestling. I did as a kid.
Right.
It was great. Hell, when I lived in Memphis, I wrestled Jerry Lawler one time. All right. So you know, I'm not that hater guy. I just don't. I hate watching it. I'll put it that way. Whatever. I do understand the entertainment value of it, and I do understand the value of it as an entity for a sports network, which we are. And the E in ESPN stands for entertainment. So before you get to sports, you get the entertainment in ESPN. So all that being said, I understand why we do it. To answer your question specifically, there was a lot of conversations about how we were going to do it, but not at my level.
Gotcha.
Right? So we were told this is what we're doing, and we had to implement it.
Gotcha.
Right? But when we lost the UFC, or we chose to give up the UFC, which is more accurate, we wanted something else to put in that window of the ESPN app. And WrestleMania and WWE was it. And it's been a huge hit. The ratings have been huge. But me personally, I'm not a fan.
That all makes sense to me. It was funny. I had this sort of moment of realization. I was at my little guy's flag football game on Saturday morning, and one of his little teammates, who's also 9 years old, I was like, "Yeah, we got to go to baseball next, and then we're going home and watching WrestleMania tonight." I'm talking to a little 9-year-old. I was like, "You going to watch WrestleMania tonight?" And he's like, "No." And I said, "Why not? You don't watch wrestling?" And he said, "It's just kind of weird." And I said, "Yeah, probably." I was like, "Okay, I get it." I needed a 9-year-old to open my eyes. It is kind of weird.
Some of the stuff. Look, I saw more professional wrestling in these last 2 evenings than I ever have because my show was on after, and we had the segments in SportsCenter, And you're right. I kept asking constant questions. I'm like, "What is going on? Who's that? Why does he look like that? What is she doing?" There were just so many questions. Look. Professional wrestling in some regards is a reality show.
Yes.
Right? It's a scripted reality show. Right? I don't watch reality shows either.
Okay.
So I'm not the demographic they're looking for, which is fine. But those who find it entertaining, clearly all those people that were at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas 2 nights in a row, they love it. So good for them. These guys, I'll say this too. The last thing I'll say about them, they're some of the best athletes we have in terms of what they're able to do. But it is scripted, so for me, it's hard to get behind. And by the way, one of the most impressive things I saw was Speed jumping off that post.
Yes.
Dude, like, are you this is not a professional athlete. This guy doesn't have that much training doing what he did, but to stand on that post and to jump that high?
No, that was
impressive.
That's a real stunt. Like, if this were a film,
that is real.
That's a real stunt. Like, I know Logan Paul was going to lay there however long he needed to lay there to let it happen, but like the act of jumping and landing, that's all real stuff.
Oh yeah, if that was in a movie,
Yes.
he might have got $500,000 for that stunt. Like that's ridiculous.
Right. It was fun. We had fun watching it. So I appreciate your thoughts. I wanted to get
thanks for watching the ESPN app. We really appreciate it. Especially my 401k.
But I think I subscribed to ESPN. I think you guys got me, if I'm being honest. I think I subscribed to ESPN Unlimited as soon as you got WWE, and then they were like, a month later, they were like, "Oh, you now get it for free with your DirecTV subscription." I think you guys double dipped me a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. You deserve it.
Appreciate you, brother.
You got it. I'll see you. That's Michael Eaves from ESPN. I meant to call and be like, "Hey, ESPN, do I have 2 subscriptions?"
I got to do that too.
I think I've got multiple subscriptions to ESPN Unlimited.
Yeah, I think I do as well. I need to get on that.
Yeah. Whatever. We had fun. We'll talk WrestleMania more in the next segment. But when we come back, I do want to turn our attention to some college basketball stuff because there was some transfer portal news that is at least loosely connected to the University of Memphis. And I want you to use that as an example or an excuse, rather, to circle back and talk some Memphis basketball stuff. Then another development that just sort of speaks to where the sport is right now with NIL and rev share. Braylon Mullins, the young man who hit one of the most memorable shots in NCAA tournament history for UConn against Duke in the Elite Eight, he announced he's coming back to UConn for his sophomore season, even though most projections have him picked anywhere between 15 and 25 in the draft. He's saying, that's fine. I'd rather go back to college. He will make more money at UConn next season than he would have made in the NBA. I'll tell you why. We'll do it next. Gary Parrish Show presented Ortho South.
With living in luxury at Southland Casino Hotel, the good life is closer than you think. Members get 1 entry with every 100 points earned playing on their Lucky North Rewards card, plus 1 free entry daily. Win free play at our hourly drawings, and don't miss our Saturday grand prize drawings in March. You could win a home theater package, premium massage chair, an outdoor jacuzzi, and $250,000 cash. Luxurious prizes await at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or older. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
25 years of history. Going back to where it all started. B2K is back. The Millennium Tour presents the Boys for Life Tour. Battle
Still, I ain't impressed because ain't none of them at all.
Boys for Life. Also starring Pretty Ricky, B5, Young Jock, Crime Mob, A. Marie, and Franchise Boys. April 26th, FedEx Forum. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. Presented by the Black Promoters Collective.
New Amsterdam Vodka is an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies. It's the only exceptionally smooth vodka that is 5 times distilled, 3 times filtered, and rated 93 points. New Amsterdam believes wins, big and small, become legendary when you celebrate them with your crew. So here's to the blue, white, and gold, the Memphis grit and grind, and reliving winning moments, big and small, with Tennessee's favorite basketball team. New Amsterdam Vodka. Find your wins.
Azzy's making money thanks to the new CBA.
Incredible stuff.
Her
good stuff.
Rookie contract. She is projected to make $500,000 this year, and just in comparison, Paige made $78,000 last year, and Caitlin Clark made $76,000.
Anytime we get workers getting paid what they're worth, I'm all for it.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Junior Grizzlies summer camps presented by Ortho South are the key to a slam dunk summer with over a dozen 4-day camps perfect for hoopers ages 6 to 14 looking to build fundamental skills and make unforgettable memories. With camps across the Mid-South in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas, you won't have to go far for the ultimate hoops experience this summer. Registration comes with a Junior Grizzlies jersey, lunchbox, and a basketball to take home. Don't wait, space is limited. Visit Grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies today to secure a spot for a fun-filled summer. That's Grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies.
Can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays in the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in. Ortho South to take care of everything, especially you. Learn more, orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Transfer portal keeps humming along this college basketball offseason with a couple of notable developments, commitments this weekend. DJ Wagner son of Wani Wagner, former University of Memphis standout, entered the transfer portal after his latest season at Arkansas. There were reports from reputable college basketball analysts that said DJ Wagner is involved with Memphis, and people in the industry do expect him to end up at his father's alma mater. I got bad news. DJ Wagner committed to Maryland this weekend.
Well, damn.
Yeah. Also, you might remember Rowan Brumball.
I do. Tulane sharpshooter.
Oh, buddy. He can get to the rim if you don't put a player in front of him.
That's very true.
All right.
Trust me, I know.
Memphis was reportedly involved with him. I got bad news. He's going to SMU.
That's tough. That one I didn't have a lot of hope for. I think that was just one of those. Well, Penny likes to go after these guys that were amazing in the American Conference, and so this makes sense. I don't know how realistic he actually was, but still,
we might be in a situation where I'm trying to get you fired up about a Josh Holloway. Can I get you fired up about a Josh Holloway?
I mean, I don't know about fired up. I'm down for the hometown, kids coming back and stuff. But
yeah.
I'm just saying, as far as. Probably not fired up. That's probably not the word.
He's a player who would be an above-average player in the American.
Yeah.
And so if Penny wants him, I hope he gets him. But this is my larger point. I'm watching sort of the discourse among Memphis fans on social media this weekend to the extent that I can or do, right? I don't want to pretend I'm in a Facebook chat or anything like that, but I'm whenever I see it, I see it. All right. And people seem, for the most part, troubled, concerned.
Yes.
Because it's pretty clear if you're following this stuff. I think the hope among Memphis, American schools, really anybody except the rich of the richest, I think the hope was that when these new rules were implemented last July, it would put what amounted to a cap on what was being spent in college athletics. Schools would have to make decisions on where they want to spend their money, but it wasn't just unlimited. So the idea that the prices were going to continue to go up wasn't true, because they've been going up in this wild, wild west we've been living in. But after last July, these new rules are implemented, the prices should start to come down. And that's just not the case. The majority of Power 4 staffs are treating recruiting as if there is no salary cap at all, as if there are no rules at all. The thing that was supposed to change all this is this federal judgment goes into place, and now everybody gets up to $20.5 million as an athletic department to spend on your sports however you see fit. And then everything else in NIL has to be legitimate. So Cooper Flagg could legitimately get $4 million in NIL because he's super famous. He's Cooper Flagg. All right? But the days of PJ Haggerty getting $3 million in NIL just to play basketball, those days are over, because there's now a governing body that will look at that and say there is just no scenario where PJ Haggerty in name, image, and likeness is worth $3 million. This is clearly pay for play. That's not allowed. You can't do this deal anymore. You could do it before last July, but you can't do this deal anymore. So the thought process was, at least among the gullible who thought that the rules would actually matter, go back and listen to any of the Eye on College Basketball podcasts. I always said these rules will be ignored, and if they try to be enforced, it'll be challenged in court. But the first step will be they'll just ignore them.
Okay.
And that's where we're at.
Yep.
That's where Lane Kiffin goes to LSU. And the whole time it's well, he's expecting to get, you'll remember this. The whole reporting is if he goes to LSU, he'll have up to $20 million more per year in NIL money to spend. The way the rules are written, that should not be allowed. But LSU is saying we're doing it anyway. What are you going to do about it? And right now, all over the country, people are just throwing around money wherever they want. So the price of a player has gone up significantly. Rosters are more expensive today than they were last year. They weren't supposed to be, but they are. The prices have not come down at all. The prices have gone up. And so if you're Memphis, you don't have a Big Ten media contract.
Right.
You've got FedEx and a few other things. And what you need is a billionaire who doesn't care about anything other than making you good at stuff. Because that's what St. John's has. It's what Texas Tech has. And that's why they're able to flourish in this setting. But unless you've got that, the money you probably heard Kentucky $22 million a bunch of times this year because that was considered the highest. Somebody will be higher next year. And like there might have only been a handful of schools that were 15 or more. There's going to be a bunch that are 15 or more. Basically, everybody right now is somewhere between 10 and 14 at the power conference level. So I'm watching Memphis fans show concern, and I get it, because this is a place where my entire life you've either been recruiting Keith Lee or Elliot Perry or Penny Hardaway or Deuce Ford or Cedric Henderson or David Vaughn or Lorenzen Wright or Jalen Duran or Amani Bates or Derrick Rose, but the best of the best. Our whole lives, Memphis has been recruiting the best of the best. There is never anything crazy about Memphis recruiting a McDonald's All-American.
Right.
You can't do that now because it's more expensive than it's ever been, and everybody at the power conference level has money. And yes, your conference affiliation makes it, I don't want to say impossible, but it's as bad as it's ever been. And what you're watching right now is a direct byproduct of it. This is my point. I thought I had made it clear, perhaps not as clear as I need to, that like the things have changed. And it's not just whether you've got the right coach or not. The foundation of your basketball program has changed. The neighborhood in which your basketball program resides, I mean conference affiliation, not actual physical neighborhood over there off of Getwell. I mean the neighborhood in which your basketball program lives, the American, has fallen apart so badly that you can't convince players to play in it. If they've got good options at the power conference level, they don't want to play in your league. PJ Haggerty told you that, even though he was the conference player of the year. And now, whether it's DJ Wagner or Rowan Brumbaugh, they're telling you the same thing.
Right.
Rowan Brumbaugh just picked SMU over you.
Yeah.
That was unimaginable 5 years ago. You were in the same league with SMU. But here's what happens. They've got real rich people connected to their program. That's how they got in the ACC. Now they're in the ACC. So now you're telling a basketball player, you can take this amount of money and come play for us in the ACC. That means you get to play Duke and Carolina and Virginia and all that. Or you can take this amount of money and you can go to Memphis, sure. It might be the best one in the American, but you're going to play in a bunch of empty for the first time ever, Memphis basketball, I say this with no pride, it breaks my heart, but for the first time ever, Memphis basketball is more like an American athletic conference program than it is what you used to think about Memphis basketball. It just is. I'm sorry. I don't like it either, but it just is. And right now, Memphis is kind of reduced to taking mid-major players with local ties, or players who don't have real playing time or looking for more playing time. They're at power conferences, but they're looking for more playing time. So they might come down to your conference to get more playing time. Aaron Bradshaw, most of that's the way the roster is going to look going forward, I'm afraid. Because DJ Wagner, he can start in the Big Ten for lots of money. So he'd rather do that. And what we're finding out is Rowan Brumbaugh can start in the ACC for a lot of money. And he would rather do that. Outside of the Power 4 plus the Big East right now, you've got a real basketball problem outside of a very, very small handful of places. Gonzaga can still operate as Gonzaga because it's carved out a little niche that it's its own little thing. They play in a little arena. They've been to multiple national championship games, like in recent history. That's the thing. And then you can look at some of these other programs that are maybe experiencing the best times they've ever had, like Utah State. They're in a league just as good as any league they've ever been in. They're winning games consistently. Like, that's fun. They're having a good time. But outside of that, everybody's just trying to get through. And if you're good, you're probably losing your coach. Outside of a very small handful of programs, you can't compete with the Power Fours anymore. And so where is Memphis's place in the sport? You're in like the 10th or 11th best league in the country, and you're not like this interesting, fascinating little thing that, like, you're Gonzaga, you play in the kennel. You know, it's packed every game. It looks crazy. You know what you are now? You're a mid-major basketball program, mostly recruiting mid-major players, that plays inside of an empty NBA arena. That's what Memphis basketball is right now, and I don't think there's a quick fix. So when I see Memphis fans getting all depressed about, God, we're losing players to this place and that place, and we can't beat this place. Yeah, you're right. You can't. Like, I know, like, it sounds crazy that you might not be able to compete with Georgia Tech for a player. But in this very specific set of circumstances, you might not be able to compete with Georgia Tech for a player because it's more interesting, fun, profitable to just take Georgia Tech's money and start in the ACC than take Memphis's money and start in the AAC. It sucks, but this is what it is.
It's why I was so interested in the potential of the new Pac-12, and even at the expense of like losing money to potentially jump to that thing, because I saw the writing on the wall with this conference. This conference is not going to get any better. It can only get worse.
It can only get worse.
It can only get worse. They're not going to be able to add teams, bring teams in that elevates this conference. They might get lucky somewhere, but like it's just not going to happen. And so you are where you're now. That's still everything that we just said. That's no reason that Memphis should win the American every year. Like, they still have better resources than every other school besides maybe one in the whole league.
But what you're finding out is that once upon a time, pre-NIL, pre-rev share, Memphis, whatever version of the American or Conference USA it was in, or before that, the Great Midwest, before that, the Metro, whatever version it was in, it could reasonably look and go, we have advantages over lots of programs in our league, and if not all, certainly most. And the programs we don't have real advantages over, like a Cincinnati or a Louisville, they are the things that make our conference, along with us, a reasonable place for a Darius Washington to enroll, or a Francisco Garcia to enroll. So you could all live off of each other. But once all those programs leave you and you're just behind with the bunch, you start to slide backwards. Mm-hmm. You just do. You start to slide back. You look more like, once upon a time, Memphis, you could turn on a Memphis basketball game. Maybe this is another way to illustrate it. There was a time not too long ago, you could turn on a Memphis basketball game, and you could turn on a, let's just say, Louisville basketball game. Mm-hmm. And they'd look kind of the same. Same level of players, same kind of crowd. Yeah. Same, a big city with a basketball program they care about. And, they play off campus and, but they don't look the same because they're not the same. And that's I don't know how to fix that. It's why I was a big believer in you need to seriously consider this new Pac-12, because it at least gives you games against Gonzaga and other relevant basketball programs, because right now you got none. I know that at the time you needed to make that decision, Memphis was like actually getting hundreds of millions of dollars together to try to make a pitch to the Big 12. So you don't jump to the new Pac-12 when you think,
for sure,
we're really about to go to the new Big 12 with all this corporate money.
Right.
So I understand.
I do too.
But I hope.
I think if you could go back, you might consider it.
I don't know if you would. I think Dr. Scott might still say, no, that's too short-sighted. We need to go. Fair. We don't need to take a middle step. We need to take the big step. But that approach won't help you next year. Like, that's the truth.
Right.
Like, I get on some level, we can't go to the new Pac-12. Sure, it's better, but it's not good enough, and we need to do the good enough. And that's Power 4 or 5 or whatever. And I understand that. Like, that logically makes sense. But it will not help you. Every day you're in this league, the idea that you're waiting on something better is just another day you're in this league. So, big picture, is it better to end up in a broken up ACC 3 years from now than be in a Pac-12 next year? Yeah, sure, if that's what you can do. But that won't help you next year. when there is a relevant basketball league play, that this is going to happen. Gonzaga will play a conference game some Saturday in January, and it'll be ranked Gonzaga against ranked somebody else in the new Pac-12, and you and I will go, yeah, that could have been the Tigers. You know, we understand why they passed, but it could have been them. And instead, this weekend they're playing UTSA in front of 4,000 people at FedEx Forum. Like, I understand why you didn't go down that path, but the fact that you didn't go down that path means that next season is going to be worse than it otherwise would have been. You could have played a more compelling basketball schedule next year by being in the new Pac-12. I understand why you're not, but until you get out of this league, to your point, I think this is where we're at. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like the expectations are, be the best in this league. Like it's not compete with Power Fives. Like
that's where I've recalculated everything, and I thought everybody else had too. But then I go on Twitter and I see everybody's upset, and I had just sort of
because this happened really fast. If we're being honest,
you were recruiting the number one recruiting class in the country a few years ago.
Yeah,
and I told you this last week. You could whoever you think the best recruiter in the country is, Coach John Calipari, Dan Hurley, John Shire. I don't care. You could give them the Memphis job tomorrow and $20 million. And you ready? They could not do what Penny Hardaway did twice, which is in a different era of the sport, enroll the number one ranked recruiting class in the country. You could give John Shire $20 million and say, you're the Memphis coach. I need the number one class. He couldn't do it because you couldn't get people to come here.
Right.
Think about this, how crazy you would think it is if you heard a young man was offered similar money to start at Maryland, to start in the Big Ten, to start for an NCAA tournament team in the Big Ten, or an NCAA tournament team in the ACC, but he passed on those things to go play in the American under these set of circumstances. You would go, well, really? That's wild. He could have started in the Big Ten or the ACC, and he's going to the American? How about this? Let me flip it around. When you hear that happens, that players leave like Yaxel, this is the best point I can make. When Yaxel left UAB to go to Michigan, you didn't even blink, did you?
No.
So Memphis is closer to UAB now than it is to Michigan. And we should no longer be surprised when basketball players with real options in those types of leagues choose to take them like PJ Haggerty did. Nor should we be surprised when you have a hard time enrolling basketball players who have real options at the Power 4 and Big East level. That's just where you are as a basketball program. I thought people knew.
Great.
I thought people understood.
No, because I go back. This happened so fast.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah.
I think if you told people that this was kind of where it is right now 3 years ago, no chance.
5 years ago, John Calipari could look at a prospect, and say, I want you at Kentucky to start for me. And Bill Self could look at a player and say, I want you to start for me at Kansas. And Penny Hardaway could still get him. Mm-hmm. However it happened. He enrolled multiple number one recruiting classes. All right? That is impossible today. You can't even, right now, if Kentucky and Kansas say that they want a player, even though those programs aren't even doing well, you can't compete with that. Unless the options are you can go to Kansas and sit on the bench or start and play 32 minutes at Memphis. But that's the only type of player you are not beating power conference programs consistently for players that have real playing time options in power conferences. That's not where you're at as a program. I hope it changes, but I think the conference has to change before that changes.
Yes.
Until it does, I really do think this is where, and then we'll move on. The whole focusing on players with local ties is smart, but also perhaps necessary if you're trying to get the best caliber of prospect you can get, because
it's an advantage. It's not money.
Why might a Josh Holloway or a Fred Smith Jr., because these are players who have, I think, legitimate, like if Josh Holloway wants to be a rotation player at a Power 4 school next year, he probably could. So because that's what he was at Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. So why might he want to just come to Memphis and play in the American?
It's home.
Because it's home.
Yeah.
Because it's home. Why would Fred Smith Jr., he could go to power conference programs and be a rotation piece? Why would he decide, no, I'm just going to stay at Memphis playing there? Because it's home. Mm-hmm. I think that is still the best pull you've got, and it's probably why they're focused on that. If you go out and try to recruit the exact same player as Josh Holloway, but he's not from Memphis, you probably can't even get on Zoom because that player's got 3 options for more money than you want to spend at the Power 4 level to be a part of a rotation on a projected NCAA tournament team. How can you make up for that? Probably the home thing. And so that's why you're seeing a little bit more of the refocus on players with Memphis ties, not just because you're trying to get back to what it means to be a Tiger, but because those are the type of people you can maybe convince to not go to a Power 4 school or a Big East school if given the opportunity. Why don't you just pass on that and come home, play at home, downtown Memphis, in front of your friends and family? Like, that can work to some degree. Nobody's going to leave $1 million on the table to do that, but they might leave some. And so, by definition, that becomes an advantage that you might try to exploit. Either way, we'll see how this week goes, but I thought people understood, like, Memphis basketball is kind of in a different place now, like undeniably in a different place now, and just unable to recruit at the level it once recruited. That's not necessarily an indictment on the staff or the money, although everything can matter. But you can put in the perfect staff and all the money, and recruiting to Memphis basketball right now, it would be hard to replicate what it looked like in any other decade of Tiger basketball in my life. It's just sort of a sign of the times.
Number 2.
Braylon Mullins announced this weekend he is returning to Connecticut. You and I talked about this, I think, last week. Except when you really sit down and talk through it, less surprising. Surprising because this is a young man who is projected to go 15th to 25th. No way he gets out of the first round.
Right.
I think for months now, he has thought he was going to be a one and done. 5 years ago, he would have been. 3 years ago, he would have been. 4 weeks ago, I think he probably believed he would be. I mean, I don't ever want to say too much, but I sat down with his parents at the Final Four. We did an on-camera interview, me, Adam Zucker, and Braylon Mullins' mom and dad, the delightful people. I never want to say too much. I will say this. I think I'm comfortable saying this. I was not left with the impression they thought their son was going to do another year of college. I was not left with that impression at all. But then he announced that he was this weekend. Why? Some of it comes down to that shot he hit in the Elite Eight. He's now famous. Like in a way that he wasn't famous before he hit that shot. He's like, I don't know if my sons knew Braylon Mullins before he hit that shot. But now if I could pick them up from school today and I could say, hey guys, tell me who Braylon Mullins is. They'd be like, he hit the shot against Duke, plays for UConn. They know that shot changed his life. Well, you know what else it does? Creates incredible name, engine, likeness opportunities, like on a national level. He can be in commercials because he's famous now. He's a famous athlete now.
Yeah.
So that's real money. Beyond that, you look at the rookie scale. Like, where are you going to be? How much money are you going to make if you are the 15th pick in the draft? How much are you going to make if you're the 25th pick in the draft? So you start looking at all this, and this is what I think Braylon Mullins started doing. Let's just split the difference. Everybody says he's going to be 15 or 20, somewhere in 15 or 25. Let's say it was 20th. He would sign a 2-year contract worth $6.6 million. Let's call it $3.3 million he'll make next year. It would be a little less than that, I think, but let's just call it $3.3 million. Dan Hurley, I know, could sit down with him this weekend and say, if this is just about next year, I can get you more money.
Right.
You make more money than if you're the 20th pick in the draft. You can make more money at UConn. Between NIL and rev share, I could just guarantee you that 3.3, we can top it. No problem. So we're not talking about money anymore. All right? Now let's just talk about your life. We've already taken money off the table. And I understand you might say, but coach, my agent tells me the most important thing is to get in the draft as soon as possible so that you get to free agency as soon as, that second contract as soon as possible, because that's when you really get paid. And then that's where you counter that with, tell your agent to look up how many players drafted in the first round don't even get a second contract. Ask him the difference between getting a second contract when you've been ready to perform, when you're playing real minutes and actually producing, as opposed to maybe you set your whole rookie year on the bench because you're just 19 years old. All right? So, like, there's a lot of, yeah, it's great to get to that second contract as soon as possible if you're LeBron James. But, like, for so many others, the actual advantage is, like, popping as soon as you get in that league. Not sitting on the bench for 3 years, developing. So, all right, what else you want to talk about? Let's just talk about having fun. Buddy, you know I love you, but you are 19 years old. going into the National Basketball Association. If you're the 20th pick in the draft, let me tell you what that looks like. First off, I really don't care where you go. You're probably sitting on the bench a lot for the first time. When's the last time you sat on the bench, Braylon Mullins? Sat on the bench? Yeah, in basketball. Never. Not even for your 6-year-old team. No, I was my best 6-year-old player. Cool. I bet you they were probably your best 9-year-old on your team. Yeah. And 13? Yeah. Have you ever sat on the bench in your life playing basketball? No, sir. Okay, well, you will next year. The 20th pick right now, we don't know yet who it's going to be, but it could be the Timberwolves. All right? You're not playing for the Timberwolves very much next season.
Right.
So you're going to go from what you've been doing your whole life, playing basketball, winning games, to if you're on a good team, you might win, but you ain't going to play. And if you're on a bad team, you might play, but you ain't going to win. Either one's not a great combination, all right? Oh, I ever tell you about how you're going to have to bounce back forth to the G League, probably over and over again? And that's when you get on a commercial plane and you play in front of 75 people on a stream. Why wouldn't you just do this? Come back to college. I already told you I can give you more money. You'll make more money. You'll be the star of not only our team, but of the sport. You'll play in sold-out arenas every game, on national television every game, private planes every game. What are you running from? What are you running from? Once you lay it out like that, where can you make the most money next year? UConn. Where can you have the most fun next year? UConn. So what are we even doing? He will not be the last. This is where we are at with the NBA draft now. Unless you are like a guaranteed lottery pick, you have to at least consider what's available for you in college. Because undeniably, it's just going to be more fun in college. You're a star of a team. By definition, if we were talking about one of these types of guys, in college, you're a star of a team. The second you leave college, you're just a developing young guy in the NBA. Good luck. And one day you could be top 10 pick Jaden Ivey. Other day you could be preaching on a street corner. You can go away real fast. Or rather than rush it, how about just come back to college? Be awesome at UConn. Make $4 million. When you lay it out, he did what I would do.
Sounds pretty good.
This is what I would advise my son to do. This is what I would do if I were him. And I don't think he's going to be the last legitimate first-round prospect to do something like this year. And going forward, particularly when it works out the way most people think it'll work out, this is going to be more common. We went through a time where if you were in the first round of a mock draft, you enter the draft and you just get on with your life, whatever that looks like. It's not that clear anymore. There's real money to be made in college, and Braylon Mullins going to make a lot of it.
Number 3.
A.J. Brown, it is being reported, is still likely to be traded by the Eagles this offseason. The Patriots remain a realistic option. And I guess this is among the biggest stories heading into the NFL draft, which, of course, gets underway later on this week.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm fired up for the draft, by the way. It's kind of been put on the back burner because we've been so locked into this end of this NBA season, and where we might, you're
gonna have to get me fired up.
We've been thinking ahead about the NBA draft. We still got to do an NFL draft first.
I just don't care about that one because I don't have any.
We picked number 4, so I'm excited.
Yeah, you care, but I don't have a favorite NFL team. So the NFL draft doesn't move me the way the NBA draft does.
So it sounds like that there's not going to be like a draft day deal between the Patriots and the Eagles, because basically what I've gathered is they want to wait till this June 1st date, because that's when his salary cap charge is going to be split between this year and next year, that $40 million. So it's probably not going to be a deal they do on draft day, but I mean, I think honestly makes a ton of sense for the Patriots. He used to play for Mike Vrabel. They need that number one standout guy. I know they've had Diggs that, I think that's done. And then they have some guys that have looked decent throughout the year. Last year when they made the Super Bowl, but they need that number one guy. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And obviously, he's made it kind of clear he's sick of playing in Philly.
They got to get him out of there.
Yeah,
I mean, he cannot be there.
Yeah,
that's miserable for everybody. Yeah. Nobody wants him there. He doesn't want to be there.
Right.
You got to get him out of there. And Patriots thing makes sense. He's got the history of Vrabel. They're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
They need that guy. So here's eventually he will be moved there. And I hope, I don't know if it'll happen. I hope it's a Diana Rossini breaking news.
No, I don't think it will be.
One more scoop for Rossini.
Although she did break a lot of Eagles news.
One more scoop for Rossini before she gets out of here.
he's an older player, but like his numbers this past year were pretty comparable to the year before when they went and won the Super Bowl. So like he was bad in that wild card game that they got eliminated this past year, but he's still a really good player.
All right, here's what I'm going to say.
Titans never should have been a lifelong
You ain't been the
Titan.
same since you moved on.
Haven't been the same since.
He ain't been the same since he moved on, really.
Maybe that's the real homecoming. Have we thought about that? We could use a number one.
Listen, I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to wait for Diana Rossini to tell me what's going on with the Patriots and A.J. Brown. I think she'll know.
Okay.
I think she'll know.
Okay.
All right. Who are we to sit here and speculate when you know what Diana Rossini is going to let us know at some point?
That's fine. I just wish that we would be considered. We were once home, and maybe that's a possibility. But it sounds like Mike Vrabel will just keep getting former Titans and making me sad. So, good.
Well,
number 4.
That's never win. They've lost 11 in a row. You know how hard that is to do when you have a
well, just in general in baseball, it's hard to lose 11 in a row.
If my 9-year-old's team lost 11 games in a row, I'd be like, do we need to break the team up? Like, what's going on?
That just doesn't happen.
This isn't fun.
Even like the Royals get one every now and again.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
11 in a row. Oh, opening day, $352.2 million payroll, highest in baseball history. Lost 11 in a row. Like, at some point, don't you have to fire somebody?
I think somebody, should get fired.
Like, at some point, it's just like, hey, man, we don't know whose fault this is.
What's the equipment guy doing?
Yeah, but like somebody's got to.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, just somebody's got to go. I don't know who. Hey, manager Carlos Mendoza, I don't know if this is your fault, but you've been sitting in the dugout. You've lost 11 straight games with the highest payroll in baseball. You can't do this. I mean, like, I hope you understand. This would be like if we just came in here on a Monday and be like, you realize Oklahoma City's lost 11 in a row?
Yeah, that would be wild.
You'd be like, what? How did they lose 11 in a row?
I mean, y'all out here making the Athletics look good. I don't even know where they play.
Dude,
they're sleeping
we don't even know where they're at.
Where are the Athletics?
They don't even have a home. You got beat by a homeless baseball team. Swept.
Yeah, that's
by a
bad.
homeless baseball team.
That's bad. That's bad.
I mean, it's crazy. And this is what I always try to emphasize when we start talking about the Grizzlies and rebuilds and bad teams and losses stacking up. It's like, man, this thing you can go from LGM to like, how are they doing now? Very quickly. And you can go from grit and grind to like, you just don't. This happened to me at some point in my young adult life. The Mets were so bad for so long. I just looked up, and you could see me on the street and be like, oh, that's GP. I know he's a Mets fan because I saw a picture of him in a Mets hat when he was 6 or whatever. And you could be like, GP, so what do you think about this? Because you're a baseball fan, and I would be like, oh, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just out. I'm out. Like, and this season is starting to get like that already. Like, the Mets played the Cubs yesterday. All right. Now, I was busy. We had a bunch of stuff going on. But the Mets played the Cubs yesterday. In a different time, no matter what I'm doing, this phone I'm streaming the game.
Yep.
We got it at lunch. I'm on the golf course. I'm listening to it. I want to know what's happening. And yesterday, just at some point, I went, I wonder if the Mets won today. And then I checked my app and I went, nope, they lost to the Cubs.
This is a great discussion about, like you said, just sports in general, because our attention spans are shorter than they've ever been.
Right.
And I just feel like in this day and age in sports, you just cannot go multiple years being bad because people will just check out. Like again,
the Mets have played 22 games, and I am just about checked out on it.
Yeah, like our attention spans just aren't what they used to be.
I'm not going to spend 3 hours every night making my family watch a shitty baseball team.
Right.
Like I'll get excited, but like I'll keep up with you, but I'm not going to invest my eyeballs every day. Like we take a trip every summer to go to a new road stadium to see the Mets. So we went to Arlington, Texas 2 summers ago, went to Atlanta last. Like, might not go this summer. Like might not go. Why we want to travel to?
Well, I mean, to go have a nice vacation.
Yeah, but like we do something else. That's the thing. You can always do something else.
That's true.
I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. When the Mets are good, there's like a S&Y Mets podcast. Like we could all learn a lesson from this. When the Mets are good, there's like a S&Y Mets podcast. And I download the episodes and they're in my phone and I'll get up every morning and I'll listen to them. And when the Mets are bad, I'm not downloading that podcast. What you think? What do I want to listen to a Mets podcast
Right.
this morning?
Right.
Hi, welcome in to the SNY Mets podcast. I'm so and so and so and so, and as you know, the Mets lost 11.
Yeah.
Listen to something else.
This could actually be a good year for you to knock out one of the crappier ballparks because now you can buy the cheap ticket and you guys can just like walk in and say, hey, we did it. Here's the picture. And then you can just enjoy the city wherever you go.
I'm sure we'll do it, but it's just like I look forward to baseball season every year. I look forward to this. I'm like, man, gonna get home, like, put the suitcase up, Mets games. And it's like the season feels over. Like, I mean, they're already 8 games out of the East, last place in the East, and 6 games out of the wild card with a million teams in front of them. Francisco Lindor's hitting like 205. He's 1 home run.
A lot of ground to make up.
This would be like if Oklahoma City had lost 11 in a row and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was averaging 6 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, how is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander averaging 6 points a game and how they live? That's what's going on.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I've had enough, man.
That's rough. I can't pinpoint what's going on there, but
can't hit, can't catch, can't pitch.
Head's got to roll. Head's got to roll.
At some point, we got to fire somebody. I don't even know who.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But just somebody. I don't even care who.
Yeah, let me do some digging. I'll figure out.
Make it an assistant GM. I don't care.
Okay.
Somebody's got to pay a price for it. Somebody's got to pay a price for putting me through this.
Okay.
All right.
Good luck.
Number 4.
Oh, wait, no, don't talk about the Mets
Number
again.
5.
All right. We touched on WrestleMania with Michael Eaves just because I genuinely, because I saw people, frankly, complaining. This is SportsCenter. Why am I should be watching segments about the NFL draft and about the NBA playoffs and about Major League Baseball and about Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd. I shouldn't be watching a legitimate breakdown of Roman Reigns and CM Punk. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. So I want to ask Eaves, like, how much of a conversation is that? And I loved his answer. Do you remember what he said?
He's like, I hate wrestling.
He was like, that is a conversation. It is definitely something that was discussed. How are we going to handle WrestleMania? Because it's now an ESPN property. How are we going to handle it for SportsCenter? I like this answer. He said it was definitely discussed, but not at my level. One of the best ways to survive at a television network for a long time is to really understand things that are at your level and things that aren't at your level. The people who keep getting contracts, like Michael Eaves, been doing this for a while, seems to be very good at understanding. This is a man who hosts SportsCenter and by his own admission hates wrestling. You think he wants to be spending SportsCenter talking about wrestling? That's discussed at a different level.
Yeah.
I'm doing my job.
Good.
Yeah. Like every time you get a rundown from a producer at a television network, you know what you say? Looks good.
Looks good. Yeah.
Looks good. I'll see you in a little while.
Yeah.
I'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Be easy. People like easy people.
Yes.
People at television networks, I can tell you, people like easy people.
Yeah.
Michael Eaves seems like an easy person. So I wanted to get his thoughts on that, and we did. But then forget that. Now we're talking just 2 nights, WrestleMania. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I agree with the consensus. What I've seen a lot of people say, I thought night 1 was not great, and I thought night 2 was awesome. Like, I had a blast yesterday watching it, and I don't even mind the early start time. Like, I kind of like being wrapped up before 9.
I didn't like it.
Oh, I'm good with that.
No, I think
Saturday I want to go late night. Sunday,
I think I texted you guys this weekend.
Yeah.
No, I looked up and I was like, it's still daylight, and Roman Reigns is walking into the ring. Mm-hmm. This is too early for me. I need time to get.
Okay.
I need time to get ready for the main event.
I kind of liked it.
I didn't feel like I was properly ready for the main event.
Okay, that's fine. I liked night 2. I thought they kicked it off well with Oba beating Brock, and Brock puts his gloves and his shoes in the middle of the ring like he's retiring. He's not retiring.
Well, they never actually retire.
No, he's going to be the main event at SummerSlam. He ain't retiring. SummerSlam's in Minnesota.
Okay.
That's where he's from.
Okay.
That's where he wrestled his first match.
All right.
So,
well, then why are we doing all this nonsense?
Well, we're building it up. We're building it up. Maybe he is done.
I don't like a fake retirement. If it's a fake retirement, I don't like it.
He was crying.
He was crying.
Yeah, but that was a good way to kick it off. I thought the main event was really good. I was getting annoyed with the CM Punk slander that was going on in the group chat. That was making me mad. I don't appreciate that.
It's mostly Vernon.
I don't appreciate that. CM Punk is a legend in this industry, and he deserves our respect, even though it's OTC forever, and I'm glad he got his belt back. But we will not stand for CM Punk slander. He is a GOAT.
I will say this about WrestleMania 42. I streamed it both nights. Begged my children to watch it with me. They did to some extent, but it did not capture them. Like
my kids were into it. Noah was digging the main event. Yeah.
They would sneak at it. Like if they could figure out a way to sneak back upstairs and get back to their own little lives, they were ready to do that. They did not care in the way that I was imagining them caring. And if I'm being honest, like there was one moment where last night, you know, we multiple screens, and I like, all right, what's the like? This is a decision I have to make every night. What do we want to hear as opposed to what do we want to be able to see? There was a moment where I took WrestleMania and put it to the side and put Coachella up on the main screen. I was like, I'd rather just stream Coachella than watch this wrestling match.
Okay.
I watched it mostly out of obligation. I felt like it's WrestleMania. I like to call myself a wrestling fan. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be able to talk to Bennett about this because my eyes were on it. But there was never a moment where I was like, this is not a waste of my time.
I mean, I liked the ladder match. I dug night 2. I liked the ladder match. I liked Rhea and Jade. I was into it from pretty much start to finish.
I was.
There was the Finn Balor Dominic Mysterio. I might have walked away for that one, but like
the Finn Balor entrance was neat.
It was good.
That was kind of what like
it was good.
But like I didn't. So if I were trying to defend it, maybe you don't need me to defend it. But if I were trying to defend WrestleMania 42, I think this is what I would say. Let's just use it as a reset to get the belts back in the right places.
Somebody made the point that that they want because Roman and Cody are the stars of the new Street Fighter movie, and they were like they want the belts on those guys because they're going to be promoting this big movie.
Well, like, but independent of that, those are probably the two biggest male stars in WWE. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are probably the biggest stars.
Well, I just love Roman's shtick now. If I'm back, I have to save this industry. That's my favorite thing. Yeah, he loves saying that.
But there's some truth to that.
Oh, hell yeah, there is.
They tried to make the build up to WrestleMania 42, like, and this is CM Punk's first time to main eventing, and it like got all clunky, and people didn't like it, and that was sort of his thing. I'm here now. I tried to step away, go do some movies, all that stuff. I tried to hey. If I get out of the way, maybe some of the rest of you lift this thing up. Maybe I'll lose my belt for the first time in more than 1,000 days, and we'll let somebody else. And you guys are running this thing into the ground. Everybody hates it now.
I have to come back and
so
save it.
I got to come back and save wrestling. So that's what I'm doing. I like that too.
He is. I mean, dude, he's gonna be the greatest ever. Like he already has the argument. Like he's going down as the GOAT. More WrestleMania main events than anybody. All the titles.
Well, it's just like you don't even have to know anything. He just sort of looks the right way.
Yeah.
Like just the whole everything about, like you don't even need to know anything about wrestling. You'd be like, I bet that's somebody important. Just him walking, everything about, just when the boom, 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 when the music starts and immediately you see how an entire stadium go.
Yeah.
Like that, he's got that, right? So if I were trying to rationalize WrestleMania 42, and perhaps you don't need me to, but now the belts are where they're supposed to be. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are your big champs over here. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, I think, are your big champs over there. And on some level, those are the biggest stars, right?
Yeah.
Certainly, there's no denying Roman Reigns is the biggest male star, and Rhea Ripley is the biggest women's star.
Yeah.
There's no argument otherwise.
For sure. And I think that's pretty accurate. And I think because of this, like this kind of reset that you're talking about, I bet next year's WrestleMania will be better than this year's WrestleMania.
I hope so.
But I still liked it. I had a great time.
I didn't think it was a disaster. Even Saturday night, the first night, I was
like, aren't we going to Saudi Arabia next year?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things.
That's weird.
Yeah. Even like Saturday night, I was like, okay, Cody Rhodes retains, and now Brock's what's his name? Randy Orton's just beating him up in the ring afterwards. Like I was like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? What did we accomplish here? I just didn't care. I didn't care. I wanted to care. I watched it all.
Oh, yeah, Paige returned. That was cool. Love Paige. She's great.
Except I don't have any context for her. I don't really. That was a time when I wasn't watching, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know anything about her.
I'll show you a video in the break.
Okay. What kind?
Probably, actually, I had to show it to you outside of the office.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Okay.
Shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, Bennett, now I'm intrigued. Now I'm going to be doing Google searches all through the commercial break.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Okay. All right. Anyway, hey, but also this is a weird time because it's one of those things where it's like Friday Night SmackDown, and you go, hey, it's the last SmackDown before WrestleMania. Got to watch SmackDown. And then it's like night 1 of WrestleMania. Got to watch WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Night 2 of WrestleMania. Got to watch WrestleMania. Then it's like, and it's the first Raw. Now it's the first Raw after WrestleMania.
This is the good one. I love the Raw after Mania. It's always one of my favorite events of the year.
The problem becomes you look up, and it's like, I'm a grown man, and I'm about to watch 4 nights of wrestling in a row.
Hell yeah, I am.
I know. I just feel a little less than. Like, I feel like I'm really putting my wife to a test. You know, like, she already has to look over and be like, but like, I'm really married to somebody who just sits around watching wrestling every night. You know, I just wonder if that thought goes into her head.
Probably. Who cares?
Well, I do. I wouldn't want her to think that of me.
My wife already thinks I'm an idiot anyway, so it's fine. Yeah.
All right. I'll watch. I'll watch it.
Tonight will be fun.
All right, tonight will be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Be back in a second.
When the arena lights dim for a concert or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person who will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's a person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to give you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let other fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Grizzlies, take your fandom to the next level by becoming an MVP.
How long have you been an MVP? Since day one.
Enjoy the great benefits of being a season ticket member. Pre-game MVP moments, including Autograph Alley, exclusive Grizz gear deals, access to member or MVP-only player events, and much more.
He's been an MVP for 22 years.
Become a Grizzlies MVP today.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Rumored to be one of only 18 in existence. Plated with the very same tungsten that forged the International Space Station. And wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
Each challenge is unique, so each game plan is customized to identify opportunity and the path to victory. It's true in basketball, it's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle with personalized planning and advice. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by May 30th, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
To win free Sonic, just hit the link pinned in the YouTube chat. You know where to find it. To enter for a Sonic gift card, just jump into the chat, hang with us, and maybe even eat free Sonic too. That's in the YouTube chat every Monday. Sonic gift card waiting on you. Let's do carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Well, we did get an update over the weekend, courtesy of Ben Strauss, ESPN, on the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini situation. Did you read this story, ESPN.com?
No, what's up?
So, ESPN basically, decided to report on this as a legitimate news story. And what Ben was able to report is that honestly, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but it is precisely what I told you last week. These pictures surface. The New York Times / Athletic, because they're all under one roof now, ask her for an explanation. She says, this is not what it looks like. I was on a girls' trip. He was with his son. We weren't there together. We were just at the same place. And their initial reaction to that was, okay, got it. We'll stand by you then. Okay, we got you. So very quickly, and I think incorrectly they now know, they were too eager to stand by her for whatever reason. And so they release a statement like, this is out of context and a misrepresentation, and we stand by one of the greatest reporters in the world. And we're like, okay, we'll see where this goes. And then the rest of the world just wouldn't leave the story alone because it made no sense on a surface level. Like, the league meetings you're supposed to be at are 2 hours away. Why are you here? It'd be like if there's league meetings in Memphis, but you're in Jackson, Mississippi for some reason. Why are you spending a day in Jackson, Mississippi if you're supposed to be in Memphis? Unless you don't want to be seen in Memphis with who you're with, right? So you start to look at it, it just makes no sense other than the obvious. And they go back to her. This is what Ben is reporting at ESPN. They go back to her and they say, hey, listen, we want to stand by you, but you know, there's a lot of people with a lot of questions, and we frankly don't know how to answer them now. So, like, you told us, your initial story that you told us was that you were on a girls' trip to this resort and you went hiking. They just repeated everything she told them back to her. And she said, right. Okay. We're assuming if you planned a trip to a resort, there's text messages that say that. Like
pictures of y'all.
Hey, girls. There's probably a group text. Hey, remember, okay, we got the resort booked. I'm landing at this time. What time are you landing again? All right. Do you want to just meet at the resort? You want to meet at the airport? Maybe I'll just have a drink at the. Some of this got to be in there somewhere. You told us you went hiking. Are you really the one person that went hiking in Arizona and doesn't have a single picture of it? Show us a picture. Show us your plane tickets. Show us the text messages between you and your girlfriends. Show us a picture with you and your girlfriends. Show it. Tell us who they are. Show us anything to make us believe it isn't what it looks like. And she clocked out. She said, I'm not going to, no. She could not say or show a single thing to back up the idea she was there with anybody other than the Patriots head coach. And that's game, set, match. And we talked about it last week, so I won't belabor the point, but it's just, because I even had somebody this weekend say to me, like, I don't understand why she's taking so much of this and Mike Vrabel's not. Like, Mike Vrabel has a personal problem, I would assume, based off of those pictures, but not a professional problem. But journalists getting too close and cozy with sources in that way, and then when asked about it, apparently lying to their bosses, that'll get you every time.
Yeah.
That'll get you every time. So, as Jeff Pearlman, a notable journalist, made the point on TikTok this weekend, like, we can get caught up in all the messiness of this story, but really, the fallout from it, professionally, it's not about infidelity. It's got nothing to do with infidelity. Diana Rossini could have a relationship with any number of people she'd like to have a relationship with, but once it is with a NFL head coach and you're a, quote, NFL insider, you got problems. Maybe not with, you got problems with your workplace. Whereas Mike Vrabel, he might have home problems, but not necessarily problems in the workplace. And so it's just, there are different stakes and different standards for the two people who were in that hot tub holding hands, all that stuff. And I thought Ben did a nice job of explaining that. The story, if you haven't read it, it's at ESPN.com, but it sounds like she was hoping she could just trot out a story that sounded unbelievable and her bosses would just accept it without asking a single question. That's not what happened. Once they started asking questions, she didn't have any good answers, and that's how she ended up in the situation she's in now.
What's today's biggest game?
Let's go back to the NBA playoffs. Timberwolves, Nuggets, 9:30 tip, NBC Peacock Ball Arena in Denver. Denver, 7.5-point favorite after winning game 1. Totals 230.5. How you going to act?
I will go. You said 7.5.
Denver minus 7.5 at home at altitude.
I'll go Timberwolves.
Get the series maybe tied 1-1, but at the very least, they'll cover to 7.5.
Yeah. I wonder if Anthony Edwards is dealing with something. People suggested he might be hurt.
Jessica Benson says she saw him in person over the weekend. He did not look 100%.
Right. So that could be an issue, but I'm going to assume he's good to go tonight. So, yeah, I'll say Timberwolves. Keep it close.
Timberwolves plus the 7.5. Tip at 7.5. Tip at 9:30. It's on NBC.
What are we watching on TV?
So, I think I told you last week that a new documentary had dropped on Netflix. It was like top 5 in movies. Untold, the Jailblazers.
Yeah.
We watched it on Friday night.
How was it?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah?
It was one of these things, 86 minutes, so I love that. I knew, like, if it's bad, it's just 86 minutes. We'll get through it. So it's one of these things. I think the basketball games got so shitty. And I was just like, can we... I really do think it was once the Hornets jumped on the Magic. And we're all just sitting around, and I was like, hey, you want to watch? Because it's not just like the Jailblazers. It's like Damon Stoudemire, who I know, and who was here in Memphis. And Bonzi. Like, the 3 main characters in the thing are Damon Stoudemire, who has Memphis ties with the Grizzlies and the Tigers, Rasheed Wallace, who has Memphis ties as an assistant on Penny's staff, and Bonzi Wells, who has Memphis ties because of the Grizzlies.
Yeah, man.
So the 3 main characters all have Memphis ties. So I was like, maybe this is the best recommendation I could give for it. I can tell when I say, hey, why don't we watch this? My wife is like, a basketball documentary? I could see it like, a basketball documentary. And but she's also very agreeable. And she can also just like look at her phone the whole time. So she was like, if that's what you want to watch, it's fine. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to watch it, but I'm just looking for something we can all watch. And like, I don't know, let's just give it a try. And we turned it on. And then at one point, I think maybe the Warriors game was getting started. And I was like, I just sort of, because she was over here, like I couldn't tell whether she's paying attention or not. And I just sort of turned it off. And I was like, turned on the basketball game. And there's like maybe 30 minutes left in it. And she goes, why'd you turn that off? And I said, I didn't think you were watching. She's like, well, turn it back on. Nice. She wanted to finish it.
Nice.
It's good enough. And what it makes you realize is, yes, the whole thing was bananas, the way it was built. It was Damon Stoudemire was so wronged. Most people, to the extent you think about him at all, you know what you think about? Oh, yeah, he was one of the Jailblazers. He's one of the Jailblazers, the knucklehead in Portland. I remember even when, like, he was hired to Josh Pastner's staff, I was like, or maybe when he was with the Grizz, I still had that in my head.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, he was the knucklehead Jailblazer, always in trouble. He did basically, he had weed. I mean, it's nothing. It is, the truth connected to Damon Stoudemire and the perception of Damon Stoudemire are like miles apart.
For sure.
And I'm so glad that this documentary exists, because you will think about him an entirely different way. You'll think about Rasheed Wallace the exact same way you've always thought about Rasheed Wallace. He is bananas. But you will have a totally different understanding of why Damon Stoudemire actually got in trouble in Arizona and what led to it. And it's almost nothing. I mean, I thought it was quick 86-minute documentary. If you care at all about the Blazers or the NBA or even those 3 players, all of whom have Memphis ties, it's an easy 86 minutes to get through. Jailblazers, Untold. It's on Netflix, streaming right now.
What's the best thing we've read?
Update the top 25 and 1 because UConn got Braylon Mullins back and also added a transfer from Duke. How about this? Right now in the top 25 and 1, version 8. Number 1, Michigan. Number 2, UConn. The 2 teams that played in the national championship game are now number 1 and number 2 in the top 25 and 1. You can find it at cbssports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow will be Tuesday. So we'll look back at, we got 3 playoff games tonight. Raptors, it is that time of the year now where it's just like, I guess we're watching basketball tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Just basketball on every night.
Love it. I love it.
Raptors, Cavaliers, Hawks, Knicks, Timberwolves Nuggets tonight. We'll look back on them tomorrow night. Sixers Celtics, Blazers Spurs, and Rockets Lakers. So it should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll try to enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.